It's an absolute fireworks moment for Monash. 60 years, how grand, how powerful. I hark back to those wonderful times when I was in the first decade of Monash, but I also reflect now, having been the beneficiary of a legal education and also one who has engaged with so many graduates from the Monash Law faculty as a lawyer, as a barrister, and then as a judge. And later, as Chief Justice, I have admitted so many Monash graduates into legal practice.
One of the things that the Monash Law degree has done for me is given me fantastic opportunities. So I have had the chance to work all over the world, in Shanghai, China, in Hong Kong, in the UK, and all of those were in law firms that never had any second thought about my Monash University law degree.
In the time that I was in law school, the university and Monash Law offered environmental law. At that time, that was a really hot topic. There was the Gordon below Franklin Dam dispute. And I think that Monash Law for graduates, in fact, is so progressive because it's constantly looking for the way the world and society is evolving and the response that law may have in that regard, like digital, like human rights.
I have to say, on one occasion I was asked in a slightly different form, is the IVF work that you did what you're most proud of? And I said no. What I'm most proud of is that I was given the responsibility to teach for a large number of years to people at various stages of their legal studies, including postgraduate studies. And then there's a little voice in the background, clear as a bell, and she said very quietly, I thought the most important thing you ever did was to get me to marry you. I immediately went into complete confession and avoidance mode and said, of course, I was talking about my professional. I don't think it washed. What do you reckon?
I always described Louis Waller as the elder of the law school and had the pleasure of actually introducing him as that at the opening of Monash Oakley Legal Service premises when, as I was doing the acknowledgement of country, Louis Waller walked around the corner of the building a few minutes late, but still attending. And I was able to then morph from that and to say, and I also welcome one of the elders of the law school, the great Louis Waller. And he burst into the biggest smile. I'll never forget that. And then we sat and had a long conversation later, which was the last time I saw him, actually.
Professor Louis Waller was the Law Reform Commissioner. He was the driving force behind Victoria's world first IVF laws. As one of my producers said this morning, wow, I wouldn't have kids if it wasn't for him.
Oh.
And a lot of people, if you've ever used IVF or you know anyone who's used IVF or you think IVF is a good thing, you've got Louis Waller to thank.
The students can expect to deal with clients one-on-one. They'll get to take instructions, contact them, follow up with them, prepare documents, and sometimes on a criminal matter they actually get to appear in court and do a plea in mitigation for a client.
I was both a student and a teacher in what was then called professional practice at Springvale Legal Service, and along with a few other seminal moments, it changed my life.
The Transnational Criminal Law Group, of which I am co-convener, oftentimes works with students. So whether we're responding to open consultations or developing academic pieces that might feed into law reform, those students are involved in that.
Herbert Smith Freehills has a really strong relationship with Monash Law alumni. They are highly regarded due to the comprehensive degree that they have at the law school and also the broader wonderful experience they have at Monash University. So when we're recruiting, are always looking for the best, and Monash Law School alumni are right up there in the candidate ranks.
Well, your moot court at Monash Law School is one of the finest in Australia, and it's inspirational to be participating in advocacy in such an environment.
To have been able to participate in the moot in the first place was thanks to Monash, obviously through its mooting program, where Monash sponsors students to go overseas, to go interstate at completely no cost in a lot of cases, as was the case in mine. Before I went into the moot, I had no idea really about insolvency law at all, but through doing the moot and doing well in it, I developed, I think, a bit of an aptitude but also a liking for the area, and it's probably the area that I want to practice in most now. So it's really changed my path in that way.
When I was working in Hong Kong, there was a group of Monash University alumni who'd come together from all faculties, and they decided that they were going to support a Hong Kong-based student to attend Monash University in Australia. They invited me to be part of that group to fund that scholarship, and I gladly said yes. And from there, I then had the opportunity to contribute specifically to the Monash Law faculty through a scholarship.
What I would say to students is always be mindful of the benefit that you, the individual, have received from being a graduate of law at Monash. Monash has given you so much. What can you give back to the law, and what can you give back to Monash? It's over 50 years since I started with Monash, my goodness, but Monash has remained with me, and the values and principles that were instilled in me through the Monash Law education continues to guide me.
Well, I hope students these days at Monash Law School have as much fun as I did, because I didn't go to class a lot, which is probably not what you want for this video, but I had a ball. But it taught you a way of thinking. It taught you how to challenge. It taught you to hold power to account. And you can't get better learning than that.
I'd like to think that I could pick a Monash School alumni, but I do find that Monash Law School alumni are very confident, very capable, and have that broader perspective in terms of the world and their place within it and the contribution they can potentially make. And I always do connect well with Monash School alumni, just given my connection.
I would extend very warm wishes to the current faculty, and in particular the Dean, Professor Brian Horrigan. Such a magnificent achievement he and all of the staff have reached in bringing Monash to this point.
Monash Law, congratulations on 60 years. Unbelievable.